To the left, we have the Samsung S90D. To the right, we have the Samsung S95F. This is probably going to be one of the most important comparisons because everybody on YouTube has been pretty much telling you that the S95F is like amazing. It's like a sight to behold. So we're going to see how true that is. Spoiler, I've already done the comparison and I really can't believe how this even happened. The winner of this comparison is going to be the Samsung S90D. If you want to see how that happens, then you got to stay through until the end. But make sure you join my settings because that's how you're going to see something different. Now, I want to start this video off by doing what literally every other YouTuber is going to do, using some form of reference accurate calibration or filmmaker mode to show you what these TVs can do. Proclaiming that this is their peak, this is just what they can do. This is a lie. Okay, the reason it's a lie is there's nothing optimized about these modes. It defeats all post-processing effects, which greatly enhance picture quality. It's kind of common sense. It's like for video gamers, if you were to turn off all your post-processing effects in your video game, you'd be left with a very unfinished product. Well, the same holds true for a television. If you turn off all your post-processing effects, you'd be left with an unfinished product. In fact, that holds true for all media, whether it's audio or visual. If you turn off post-processing effects, you have a very unfinished product. These modes turn off all post-processing effects, okay? To show this, I'm going to open up the settings here. I'm going to go into filmmaker mode as I already am. I'm going to go ahead and hit reset, okay? The relevancy of this is so you know there was no image tampering on my end, because that's another thing that people like to say. There is image tampering, you're just purposely doing this to justify your purchase, or you just want to hate. I don't have a reason to. I have both these TVs in my home right now. I can have either one I want, and I have the best of the best. This is to help you guys, because I know what it's like to be misled, which is why I even started this channel. For those who remember my story about Artings in 2013 or whatever it was, 2015, screwing me over. Yeah, it was not fun, okay? And then before that, a bunch of other people that screwed me over. So yeah, it ain't great, all right? And that's where I come in to tell you. These TVs that you're looking at, they're not optimized, okay? You watch, and I'm not joking, I've been on YouTube, okay? And I'll do this in real time too, just so you guys can kind of see what I'm talking about. I've been on YouTube, okay? I've typed in the S95F, okay? I've watched, here, let's try to focus on this real quick. I've watched Bored at Work. Who else is there? Digital Trends, back when they had Caleb. You know how that went. Friggin', I've just watched CNET's video. You see there's like full watching on that. I've watched Arting's video. You can see the red bar at the bottom. I've watched their video. I've been watching everybody's video and seeing more or less what everybody has said about this. And it gets to the point where I get annoyed with every YouTube presenter, because every YouTube presenter is the same. They all want to present themselves like the local news. This is a 2025 TV, and this is amazing, and you need to know all of these specs. No, you don't. Stop. Like, you know, and I was saying with my wife earlier, too. If you're in the middle of a store, you're not going to sit there and, like, if your grandma was there, for example, she'd be like, what's the difference between this one and that one? You're not going to be like, this 2025 TV has QD OLED, and it also has these smart features that you just can't. No, shut up. Shut up. You don't talk like that. No one talks like that. What is wrong with you people? Like, you think you're being professional and you're plastic, okay? You can be professional and authentic at the same time. Professional, in a lot of people's eyes, I guess, will vary. But I'm telling you, you could be authentic and professional. That's just my take. And a part of what I'm doing here and why I'm doing it this way and mentioning even other YouTubers to begin with is not to highlight what they are doing. Who cares what they're doing? It's to show you you're not seeing the full picture, right? Like, and I get it. I'm the guy that has the new information that nobody else has. But it's true. And that's the thing about the truth. It doesn't need to be fun or comfortable, just true, okay? So let's dive right into the truth. The truth is, if you were to look at this image, this has more contrast in filmmaker mode. Wow, that's the better TV. It looks so amazing. Oh my gosh, right? And you can play this with almost every other image, but there's gonna be a little subtlety that you'll start to notice in all of these images, like in this one. The clarity, for some reason, can't put my finger on it, but why is the S90D sharper? And you're gonna have those moments that keep happening over and over again. Now, if you were to just look at these TVs out of the box, they look about the same. The S95D, or rather S95F, has more contrast, right, out of the box. I don't know that there's anybody that could refute that. I mean, we're clearly seeing it here. There's a load more contrast, seemingly, out of the box. Now I say seemingly because no matter what image I show you, it's probably going to be a win for the S95F. And if we were just going with the out-of-the-box settings, the winner of just out-of-the-box doing absolutely fuck all nothing to your TV, well, the winner is going to be the S95F because it just has a better picture, right? And you get what you pay for. And who could have, I mean, look at that contrast. Look at all that color it has over this model. Clearly, that's what you get when you step up and you pay more money, right? This is the narrative. It's been the narrative. This is what people have been saying. Now, what I have been saying is what I opened the video off with. If you defeat all your post-processing effects, you're going to end up with two totally different experiences and televisions. And congratulations, yes, with all post-processing effects off, absolutely. The Samsung S90F, S95F, absolutely beats the S90D. I mean, look at that contrast. Oh my gosh, amazing. Okay, enter the world's greatest TV optimizer, Quantum TV. Okay, and we're going to go in there and we're going to go ahead and show you what my settings did. Okay, you ready for this? I hope you're ready. Okay, there you go. You can choose standard because that's the one I use. Okay, go ahead and explain that. Now we can run those slides back. But I think you'll get the message. I think you'll understand it without me having to say or do much of anything else. This is why I tell you, if you defeat all post-processing effects, you have a different TV. Again, and most YouTubers aren't telling you how blue the picture is now, are they? They're not saying, oh, that's blue and washed out. They're just telling you, oh, it's amazing comparatively out of the box to another TV. Well, that's great, but you've done no work effectively. You're calibrating to a reference standard made for 1990 TVs, okay? Literally the 90s. We're in 2025. Why are we still holding TVs to what a broadcast monitor or a reference monitor adhering to standards from the 90s can do? I will never know. You got to use the modern post-processing effects to see what a TV can do. Now, what I was able to do on the Samsung S95F is take it from this ugly washed out garbage to this. It is a different TV. But does it beat the S90D? No, I can't say that it does. You see, when you actually try, then you start to notice a whole different thing happening. Skin tones, a glow to the picture that is unexplainable despite its lower peak brightness. Look in this example, you'll see there's clearly a glow happening. That is just not happening for the other TV. It's just not going to happen. And you might think, oh, well, it's because, you need to raise your brightness really, really high or whatever the case may be. I wouldn't recommend doing that. You raise your brightness on this TV, you're signing a death sentence for your TV. All it will do is wash out your image. And all that gray black that I saw in the unboxing, it's very much still there. When I tell you I had to defeat a significant amount of contrast to get it to this level, I'm not joking. It was significant. I'm rocking like 6 or 7 on my contrast right now on the Samsung S95F because the black levels just aren't there. And I'm not even joking. Look, contrast level 6. 6. I've never had to do that on any TV ever that I've ever reviewed. I've never had to turn it down that low. Because the black levels would have been so bad without it. And if you don't believe me, go ahead, fuck it. We'll raise it back up. Sure, it's brighter. There's no denying that it's the brighter TV, but it's not the better TV at all. You're going to see it, okay? Now let's run those slides back again. Look at the same reference images. See my point? Look at how bad that looks. You have literally no contrast. And I mean no contrast. Things that are supposed to be dark turn really bright and washed. This is essentially like everything we say about LG, like the brighter it gets, the worse it starts to look. That's what's happening on the Samsung this year. Yes, it has a higher headroom for brightness, but what the S90D did, it found highlights and it brightened it up. Now, at 9 minutes in this video, probably too late to tell you this if you've already tuned out. Oh well, that's kind of on you. But this is the part where I'll tell you, for those of us who have an S90D or an S95D, take your TV offline. Because after a video like this, I can almost guarantee you they're more than likely going to nerf that TV. More than likely. And then there you are with a really crappy TV. So don't do it to yourself. Take it offline. I've literally already done it to my wife. After I did this comparison, before I started making this video, because of course I always test the TVs first to see for myself. And I can tell you right now, I went to my wife and I said, honey, you might want to take your TV offline now. Now's the time, because I can guarantee you, more than likely, after seeing how poorly their flagship is performing and how I can prove how poorly it's performing, they're gonna mess with your shit. You might want to take it off. And she did. And I did. And none of our S90 series televisions are online, and they never will go online again. Why? Because I know what's coming. Because there's no way I could show such a difference like this level of contrast disparity versus what the S90D, let that hit you for a second, please. The S90D is doing, okay? So let me show you what most YouTubers are saying is an amazing picture. The reference accurate, reference calibrated look. Oh my gosh, isn't that just wonderful? Well, look, Quantum, you got all those black levels back. Yeah, sure. You get some contrast elements back, but it's never gonna be on the level of that. That's the problem. In order to get this level of contrast, they wash the hell out of your picture and dim it to a point where you would never want to look at it. It's an ugly picture by everyone's imagination. And this is as real as it gets. You've watched me do the reset on the filmmaker mode. We know that's the most reference accurate, reference calibrated mode. Samsung even says it themselves in their advertising of these TVs. This is their reference calibration. Okay, so you can see reference accuracy compared to optimization from yours truly. Again, Quantum TV optimizations versus reference accuracy. Reference accuracy cannot touch me, because I'm using post-processing effects that they otherwise disable, along with the knowledge and the know-how on how these images are supposed to look. That makes a big difference. So again, if you wanted to use your brightness on my settings, or on pretty much any settings in this television, it's gonna look like that. That don't look great. Okay, let's go ahead and go to something that's known for being bright, like standard mode. Again, blue. You can clearly see it when the proper colors are dialed in. You can see how blue these pictures are. And that's the only thing to say is like, they love the color blue. It's an icy, wintry blue. They just love it. Everyone lives in Antarctica. They can't get enough of that place, clearly. And if you don't like blue, then everybody has seasickness. That's the other mode, seasickness. Now I've gone ahead and pumped that up in brightness just a little bit more so you can see, but I mean, let's just say, again, this is movie mode, okay? We're gonna go into the settings in movie mode. We're gonna go down to the bottom. We're gonna hit reset, okay? Because screw me, I don't know what I'm doing. They make everything really, really dark. Really, really dark. That's their MO. This is all they do. And filmmaker mode and movie mode, the same freaking thing. Look, literally the same thing. There's no difference. So that's why I say let's say you wanna go in, right? Brightness is at 17. Well, who's gonna watch it at 17? Okay, raise it up. Go crazy, right? I'm showing you this in real time so you can see what people are gonna do. Okay, my brightness is back. Oh, contrast is too low at 45. Let's max that out too. Okay, you've maxed everything out. Oh, sharpness is at 10 or at 0. Let's put it back to 10 like all the other default modes. Oh, auto HDR remastering is off. Let's go ahead and turn that on. Oh, peak brightness is set to medium. Let's go ahead and set that to high. Oh, contrast enhancer is off. Let's go ahead and set that to max. You're blowing out your image. You see all the detail you're losing? I mean, even if you wanted to try to emulate what I do, it's not going to happen that way. You can't do it. It's not that easy. This is what it looks like. It don't look great at all. And this is how these TVs ship. A mess. They're a mess. Look at the level of contrast difference. Yes, that is brighter, but that is it. That is all it is brighter. And that's what I was trying to tell you in the beginning here when we talk about this, my settings, right? These are my settings. But they're two different types of settings. If you open up the brightness on this TV to its maximum capability, you lose all contrast. You're seeing it right here. Make no mistake, this has been calibrated. But see, what you have to do then is go into your brightness settings, which is not ideal, and you have to turn contrast down literally all the way down to 6. There ain't no other way. There is not another way to get the level of contrast back in the image that you need. See? It's the only way you get to that level where you can get anything remotely impressive. And even then, if you pay close attention, that's still going to have better color. Look at the color pink. Look at the color green. Look at the face. Look at the yellow of the button. All that's just too blue, and it casts a general blue haze that is hear this, undefeatable. Now, when something is undefeatable, it means no matter what you do after reference calibrations or whatever, you can't beat it. Now, Samsung this year is emulating or imitating what Sony does. Sony does this like overly blue garbage to basically all of their TVs. I don't know what's wrong with Sony. I don't know why they do it that way, but they do. Nearly all of their TVs get like some ugly blue filter, like an Instagram filter. And you're seeing the effects. And I wanted to show you with real world content because this explains how the Samsung S90D beat the S95D. The S95D is brighter. Brilliant. But that's all it is. And you can pay attention to certain little things, the purity of the highlights, the intensity of the contrast. Even when that tries to get close, it's still weaker contrast than that, where you see the dark shade right here, that peak highlight right here, where on here, you don't have that dark contrast. And that, I promise you, all the background information, look at shadows very carefully, like here on the shoulder line, casting down here. You don't have it like that over there. And it's gonna be constant like this. You're just gonna notice again and again, the S90D is just gonna be better. Honestly, as far as your clarity and your sharpness, you can get them close. Clearly, I've done some tremendous work on this TV and they are close. And at an ignorant first glance, you're like, oh yeah, they're exactly the same. But if you sit with the image for a minute, you're gonna start to notice quite a few little blunders on the most flagship model. Contrast loss and color loss being one of the two biggest things that you're going to notice from one model to the next. It's gonna be bad. As you clearly see, I mean, this has so much more of that warm pinkish color of a fiery scene, and that doesn't have it. You're paying $24.99 plus tax for just the 55-inch to be beaten by a TV that on sale is $999, $1,100 after tax, okay, for the same size. Let that sink in. There's a reason why the S90D got nerfed in the brightness. There's a reason why the S90D has gotten tons of other nerfing patches. And you're seeing it because their flagship, look at the clarity, okay? Look at all the practical lighting in the back. Look at what your content is gonna look like. And then look what it looks like over there. If I told you, and be real with yourself, okay? If I told you find the $2,700 television out of these two images, where would your fingers point? I don't have an audible answer, so you let me know in the comments down below which one looks like the more premium flagship model. For me, the image to the left, it's doing more correct. It's giving more contrast, but not just contrast, because there's more to an image than that, right? The balance of color where it feels less washed, less hazy. I mean, it feels like I'm looking at just pure cinema. There's no other way to say it. It's crystal clear. The brightness is on point. Absolutely beautiful. Gorgeous highlights. Gorgeous highlights. I mean, it's on par with an S95F. And we know this because last year with the S95D, you saw what happened there. It beat it straight away. I was blown away that it even had the ability to do that. Now, it's only through patches that the S95D got a little bit better and this one got nerfed. So now the S95D is the TV to get. And I would wager almost anything it's going to slaughter this TV, the S95F, by the way, just so we are clear on that. I'm looking at what could undoubtedly be one of the greatest examples of you do not get what you pay for in 2025. This is why, I mean, like, people get so offended when I say these TVs are shit. We're talking about a comparison, and if I'm saying comparatively to last year's junior flagship, and the picture quality the junior flagship for less money by at least $1,000 was giving you, you have no other course of action or no other recourse than to say it's shit. Because comparatively, it is shit over there. That's a shit image. Because how are you more money and you are giving me less contrast, you're giving me less color, less tightness, less clarity. You're giving me less and I'm paying you more for that. In my book, all day, every day, that's a shit image. When they look nearly identical, like in this example, that expensive image becomes shit because it shouldn't be close. We're talking about you should be so far above it with what you've done new. And it's such a lack of contrast and a lack of clarity in a lot of these examples that all you could do is throw your hands in the air. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm the fucking man, okay? I have no problem tooting my own horn when it comes to my settings because I know I'm the man at what I do. It would never look anywhere near as good as this if it wasn't for my work. But now we can say the reverse is true though, right? the S90D would struggle a lot harder. And that's why you're seeing that in these comparisons that these other YouTubers are doing. So again, in real time, if we just show you the facts, okay? Opinions out of it. Facts are facts, okay? You go to filmmaker mode here. We go into this TV, and we go into filmmaker mode here too, okay? There can be no denying it, okay? Regardless of how you feel, what you think, the results are clear. Look at that. The S90F has stronger contrast. And this is what a lot of YouTubers are going to use to tell you it has stronger contrast. Wow, the contrast is so amazing. Oh my gosh, look at it. Guys, look at how great the contrast is. I mean, look at how dark. Look at those deep, inky black levels versus that on the 90D. It just doesn't look as good. And also pay attention is what I would tell you. Pay attention to how consecutively, year after year, regardless of what TVs they do, most YouTubers, by the way, use very similar demo content. Here is an idea, $1 million idea for all of you watching. Take screenshots, all the years they've used similar content, match those images up on your phone, and look at the images side by side. They don't really change much because they're not calibrating it to use post-processing effects at all. They're calibrating it to look like a 90s TV. And if you take a really good look at these dull, washed out images, this is what you would see in the 90s, washed out picture. Now, again, it's really hard to see if you don't have a point of reference, right? So yeah, if you're just using it out of the box, yeah, obviously, very clearly, the 95F would pull ahead. But if you actually use picture processing the way it's supposed to be used, well, now we have a different story. And then you can start to see where that maybe looks like a 90s TV over there to the left. Then the 95 or the 90D to the left wouldn't have a prayer. I mean, look at it. It's getting spanked in every which way. If I told you right now, find the TV that's the most expensive TV, you would run to the image to the right. Yes, the image to the right is the most expensive TV. And you would run there if that's how it came out of the box, as it should. But it doesn't come that way. Now, here are my settings. Again, we can use the eco mode. We can use whatever mode we want. I'll use the standard mode since it gives me a little lift on the contrast. I have one for contrast and one for slightly less contrast. I make options for my members, which brings me to my next thing. The only way you're going to see this is if you join for $4.99. I make it affordable for everybody so that you don't have to ever guess how to get a good picture out of your S90Ds and your S95Fs and any other TVs I review. So if that interests you, make sure you click that join button and join, because this is clearly where you're going to need it, especially on the S95F, because it doesn't have the picture quality level at all natively. You have to do a lot of work to get it to this level. And frankly, at this point in time, I am the only person online with any sort of following that can do this. None of the other guys do this. They can't do it, which is why all their footage looks exactly the same. It's very washed, very oversaturated, very ugly, very washed in a lot of examples. It just depends on the camera they're using and their mood at the time, honestly. But you're clearly seeing the 90D is slaughtering this TV. Now, if this didn't show you that, okay, let's go into just another example. Let's use some real world kind of content. Not really real world, but it's more in line of what I use when I show off my demo content, okay? So we're gonna go to, let's say, this TCL demo. I've been using it for years, very useful, super helpful in ascertaining certain things, okay? Look at that picture right there. Better yellows on the S90D, better blues by far, contrast, clarity by far, and this is a brighter scene. This is how you can tell when a TV is underperforming. It's clear, pun intended. Huh? The S90D is very clear, right? And so is the proof that we're just getting less on the S95F. Look at the skin tones right now on the S90D. They're beautiful. They're great. They're actual skin tones. They're pale on the step-up model. I mean, that level of color loss and contrast loss, all the shadows around her neck and her jawbone and all that, you're missing you're missing all of these shadows that tightly hug a silhouette to give you a three-dimensional figure. That means your TV is going to be less three-dimensional and you're paying more money. I mean, look at this example. You're seeing more vibrant color on the S90D, and not only the buildings, it's also sharper with more contrast, more depth of field. which for those who don't know what depth of field is, it's, again, how three-dimensional an object can look in essence. You're seeing it. Look at gorgeous. That just caught my eye immediately. Look at that. It's a sight for sore eyes, I'm telling you. The S90D with my settings transcend anything the S95F is capable of. And again, I'll show you across every mode that every YouTuber is going to use. Because why not? Okay, here's filmmaker mode. All the YouTubers love this mode, but look at what it looks like. This is honest to God what you're getting out of the box. This is honest to God what you're paying $2,500 plus tax for. I'm the whistleblower. Nobody likes me. I can't tell you how many guys say, oh, I don't take quantum serious. Oh, that guy's crazy. Oh, that guy's a quack. Oh, that guy's a loon. Oh, you can't take anything he says seriously. Oh, he's so negative all the time. Oh, all he ever does is tell you not to buy TVs. I see it all. But you know what? I don't really care what they say, because what I'm doing is a massive value that I wish people were able to do for me when I buy products I know nothing about and I'm at the disadvantage for. I wish I had a reviewer that was as raw and as real as I am to tell you that these TVs at the top end look like garbage if you don't have proper optimization. They do. And that's my proper optimization right there. Quite the before and after, don't you think? And even still with my optimization, what do we notice? Stronger contrast on every level. That's more wash. And that's with adjustments that are aggressive, guys. This TV has a black level issue. The blacks always look raised. You saw it in the opening when I first did the unboxing, as I mentioned earlier on in this video. And I'm not joking when I tell you, it will look like that. It will look so bad. And you'll be asking yourself, like, what the hell? Like, look, dude, what the fuck? Like, by the way, this is my first time doing all of this with all of these different demo pieces, okay? The flowers on the ground, red, the beauty of the brick, the warm tones, all of it gorgeous. And that is not even close. Not even close. And those are with my settings. I mean, I can do no better for this TV. You see what I mean? Like, there's just an undefeatable blue that ruins everything. Now, it looks nice in a blue scene like this. That looks nice. Okay, that's the first example I've seen that looks better. Out of how many did we show, though? And that's the part where I'm like, okay, that was the first example, but now they look identical again. You see what I mean? And if I really pay attention, I'll notice little things like, again, beautiful shadows on the ground. That is giving me slightly more shadows there. Again, controlling it better in this example. Finally, right? Oh, but then it shifted again. Oh, well. Otra vez. There it goes. Look at that. There it is. There it is. Gone again. Gone again. Look at it. I can't with this. I can't with this right now. Like, look at the skin tones, my guy. She's freaking blue. That's a blue light. That white look is called blue when you talk about it in TV terms, because red, green, and blue comprise all of our colors. It leans more blue. That would technically lean more towards a greenish hue because it's more yellow. That's how you can kind of attest for these things. But in English, the better skin tones are to the left. There is no refuting that. Look at that. Look at that. She has actual skin tones to the left, to the right. She's just missing all of it. She's missing all of it. And that's really the point here. The point is, it's the difference between having people in movies and everything with melanin versus having nothing. Nothing at all. Having beautiful, accurate colors and having, again, nothing at all. So the moral of the story is you don't always get what you pay for. You cannot trust YouTubers that just whip TVs out of the box, which is pretty much all of them, because they don't know how to do this and they don't take the time to learn what the post-processing effects are for. And at the same time, there's only one person that does that, and that's why my information and results are so vastly different, because I actually optimize the TV, which implies that you're pushing it to its peak and past that, to its, again, maximum performance levels, where you are actually getting all of this contrast. I mean, fucking look at this. It's ridiculous. Versus pushing an image like they want you to watch, again, which in real time looks, this is, I'm not even joking. I wish I was joking. This is what they say is professional. This is what's hot. This is what's good for them. Okay? That is a massive difference in picture quality. They make it look like a 90s TV. I make it look like a TV from today. You see the difference? It's very clear. Very clear. 90s TV, today's TV. You can see it. It's instantaneous what the look of the 90s looks like and what the look of today looks like. And that's why I say TVs are shit. because I'm not comparing them out of the box to the 90 standard, because yeah, one will probably look better, and the S90F clearly out of the box, it wins. So I guess we could just start adding that. We could just start doing the everyman YouTuber review, and then we could start doing it the way it's supposed to be done, I guess. Out of the box, yeah, the S90F, sure. S95F rather, to the right, yeah, sure, it beats the S90D. Sure, but with proper adjustment. It is clearly in front of you. I mean, it couldn't be more clear. Look at the contrast gains. Look at how fucking flat that is. How blue that is. This is what you're facing. This is what you're dealing with. This is the difference between these two displays. And I hope I've illustrated it correctly here for you today so you could see just how glorious this TV is. If I were you, I would run out and buy an S90D. I would take it offline, even after all of the nerfs and updates, because this has been nerfed and updated, and look at how beautiful it still is over that. So could you imagine day one how gorgeous the S90D was when I was ranting and raving about it before they messed it up? Look with your eyes, not your ears. Look. I'm telling you this because I want to save some people out here that are going to get hoodwinked. And I can't save everybody. I know there's going to be people, I love Brian Tech Therapy. They're good guys. We aren't in the business of being good people, okay? This isn't about good or bad. This is about information. I don't care if you're nice, if you're mean, if you kick puppies on the weekend. I care about the factual information that's being put out. And the fact is that has a world of clarity that does not have. And this one image just showed you. Meanwhile, they're all doing comparisons like this, okay? We're wrapping it up here, okay? Filmmaker mode. Oh my gosh, look at how amazing that is. Guys, this is amazing. And most of you never notice. You watch their videos, they're all blue, they're all jaundiced, they're all ugly, they're not optimized. And you go, wow, one does look better than the other. Meanwhile, that's what it's supposed to look like. Now, if I were to do what they were doing, and I were just gonna be everyman, okay? I'm an everyman YouTuber now, then look at the results. Wow, the S90F, F95F, look at all that contrast it has. Yeah, that's clearly way behind, but what do you notice as a theme? Even in filmmaker mode by default, that's still brighter. Which was the main thing that I said last year. It's somehow brighter than the S95D on these bright highlight moments where it needs a highlight. It still does that. Now, to be fair, I did go in and do the Anna Peak mod because screw them, they're not going to take my brightness for nothing, but you get an idea, and I'm only on 41. I'm using all the same settings that they have. Again, I'm going to hit reset just so you see I didn't add anything extra. I didn't fluff nothing up. This is all real time anyway, but there you go. It's still brighter. The brighter is brighter is brighter is brighter. Okay? That's the point here. But again, this is how they do their YouTube videos. This is how they get you to believe that one has better contrast than the other. And you're seeing it in real time, which has power. Because now nobody can lie to you again. You could look at the contrast gains. That's clearly having more contrast by far than what that out of the box has, but that's clearly brighter. You see what I mean? And this is how they get you. Oh, well, clearly I'd rather have a dimmer TV with more contrast anyway. See, then this is where the excuses start. The devil's advocate starts. This is where they start playing games with you. All for the sake of views on YouTube, right? Where I'm going to be a real one and tell you straight the fuck up. You need to put in actual settings that actually optimize the TV. And when you do, that's what it looks like. Oh, but wait, if you do the same thing on the TV that before needed a little extra contrast, well, the thing about contrast, this TV has it in spades. And that's what it actually looks like. And you start comparing the two side by side, and it's clear. Now, to be fair, in this example, that actually still pulls ahead a bit in the contrast department. It actually does have really good detail in the skin. So that's a really good example for it still having good contrast, which shows you it can have good contrast, but overall, the vast majority of the time, like now, clearly look at it, it doesn't have that. And that's my point. It's too inconsistent. And that's what's going to screw you over in the long run. The lack of skin tones, the lack of color quality. There's just a lack of things you don't want a lack of. She's too blue. All these TV manufacturers are doing that. The smartest manufacturer is the one that sits me down in a room, interviews me before making their next TV, because I guarantee you it'd be TV of the decade, of the century, of the millennium, because I know how to fix all of this stuff. I know what to and not to do. You're seeing it clearly with this. Look at this lizard. Look at the contrast gains here versus here. I know what makes an image, and they're not doing it anymore. They used to try, and now they're just collecting because most people aren't me. And that's the unfortunate side of things. There's a massive, massive lack of understanding about these TVs. Most people don't know. But once you know, you can never unknow it, and that's just worth everything. So hopefully I've helped you guys here today. And as always, I want to thank you guys so much for watching the #1 brand in honesty. The winner of this comparison is the Samsung S90D, but if you're going out of the box, the S95F. Let me know what you thought about this comparison down below. And until the next video, I'll see you guys later.